I opened my eyes, and a woman I had never seen before was sleeping next to me. Her hand was on my chest, her wedding ring was touching my skin, and on my own finger, there was a ring too, a ring I did not remember buying, in a bedroom I did not remember entering, in a house I had never been to in my life. I tried to move slowly. I did not want to wake her. My heart was beating so loud I was sure she could hear it. I looked around the room. There were photos on the wall, photos of me, photos of her, photos of the two of us, smiling, hugging, standing in front of a small white house with a blue door. I did not remember any of it. Then she opened her eyes, smiled at me like I was the most normal thing in the world and said, "Good morning, husband. You slept like a baby last night." And I had no idea who she was. If you stay with me until the end of this story, you will understand why I am still shaking while I tell it. Because what I found out in the next 7 days changed my life forever. Please, just stay with me. My name is Adam. I am 32 years old. The last thing I remembered, clearly, was driving home from work on a Tuesday night in October. It was raining. My wipers were old, and I kept telling myself I would change them on the weekend. I remember the red light at the corner of Maple Street. I remember the song on the radio. I remember thinking about the leftover pasta in my fridge. And then nothing. Now I was here, in this bed, with this woman, and the light coming through the window was soft and yellow, like a late afternoon, not a morning. "Are you okay?" she asked. She sat up. Her hair was brown, a little messy from sleep. She had kind eyes, worried eyes. "You look pale. Did you have a bad dream again?" "Again," she said, "again," as if this had happened before, as if she knew me. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. What was I supposed to say? "Excuse me. Who are you? Why am I in your bed? Where is my apartment? Where is my car?" I decided to be careful. Something inside me said, "Do not panic. Do not tell her the truth yet. You don't know what is happening. You don't know if you are safe." So I forced a small smile and said, "Yeah, just a weird dream. I'm fine." She leaned over and kissed me on the forehead. It was a soft kiss, a normal kiss, the kind of kiss a wife gives a husband on a regular morning. And that is what scared me the most. Because everything about her was gentle, everything about her felt real, and nothing inside me recognized her at all. "I'll make coffee," she said, and she got out of bed. She was wearing a long t-shirt. She walked out of the room like she had walked out of that room 1,000 times before. The moment she left, I sat up fast. I checked my hands, my arms, my legs. I was wearing pajama pants I did not own. There was a small scar on my left wrist that I did not remember getting. My hair, when I touched it, was shorter than I remembered, and on the bedside table, there was a phone that looked like mine, but newer, much newer. I picked it up. It opened with my face, so it was definitely my phone. I looked at the date, and I almost dropped it. 3 years. 3 years had passed since that rainy Tuesday in October. 3 years of my life, gone, like someone had cut them out of me with scissors. I sat on the edge of the bed and tried to breathe, slow in, slow out, the way my old therapist had taught me when I was a teenager and used to get panic attacks. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Do not let the fear win. 3 years. I scrolled through the phone. The contacts list had names I did not know. Mom was still there. Dad was still there. But there were new ones too. Sarah, wife. That must be her. There was a contact called Dr. Patel, with a little heart next to it. There was a contact called Work, New Office. There was a contact called Do Not Call This Number, Adam, I mean it. That last one made my stomach twist. I opened the photos, thousands of them. Me and Sarah at a beach. Me and Sarah in front of a Christmas tree. Me and Sarah holding a small brown dog. Me, alone, in a hospital bed, with a bandage around my head, giving a thumbs up to the camera. Me at a wedding, my own wedding, wearing a dark blue suit, smiling so wide my eyes were almost closed. I did not remember any of it. But the photos were not fake. The lighting was real. The little details were real. In one photo, I had a small cut on my chin. In the next photo, taken a week later, the cut was healing. These were not the photos of a stranger. These were the photos of a life. My life. A life I had no memory of living. I heard the coffee machine downstairs. I heard her humming. A soft, happy song. I heard a dog bark once, then go quiet. I had to get up. I had to look around. I had to understand what was going on before she came back. I walked to the closet. My clothes were in there. My old leather jacket, the one my father gave me when I turned 21. My work shoes, my favorite gray sweater with the small hole in the sleeve. All of it was mine. All of it smelled like me. But next to my clothes were her clothes, dresses, a row of small jackets, a pair of pink sneakers. On the dresser there was a wooden box. I opened it. Inside, there was a folded letter. The handwriting was mine. Sarah, if you are reading this, it means I forgot again. I am sorry. Please be patient. I love you. I always will. Even when I don't remember. I closed the box. My hands were shaking. Forgot again. I had forgotten before. This had happened before. What was wrong with me? I went downstairs slowly. The stairs made small sounds under my feet. The walls had more photos. A photo of me and Sarah on a small boat. A photo of an older couple I did not know, standing in front of a church. A photo of the brown dog wearing a tiny birthday hat. The kitchen was small and warm. Sarah was at the counter, pouring coffee into 2 cups. The dog was sitting at her feet, looking at her like she was the most important person in the world. Sit down, sleepyhead, she said, without turning around. I made the eggs the way you like them, with extra pepper. I sat down. I did not know how I liked my eggs. I used to hate pepper. She put the plate in front of me. She put the coffee in front of me. She sat across from me and watched me with those kind eyes. Adam, she said softly, you don't remember, do you? The kitchen went quiet. Even the dog stopped moving. I looked at her. I could lie. I could pretend. I could try to figure this out alone. But something in her voice told me she had asked this question before, and something in her eyes told me she already knew the answer. No, I whispered. I don't. She closed her eyes, just for a second. A small tear slid down her cheek. She wiped it away fast, like she did not want me to see it. Okay, she said. She took a deep breath. She smiled, even though her eyes were wet. Okay, it's okay. We have done this before. We can do it again. Done what before? I asked. She reached across the table and held my hand. Her hand was warm. Mine was cold. Adam, she said, 3 years ago, you had a car accident. A truck hit your car at the corner of Maple Street. You were in a coma for 2 weeks. When you woke up, the doctors said your long-term memory was fine, but your short-term memory was damaged. Your brain, it does not always save the new days. Sometimes you remember, sometimes you don't, and sometimes you wake up, and you forget everything from after the accident. Today is one of those days. I stared at her. The words were going into my ears, but my brain was moving slow. So, I know you? I said. I know you for real? She laughed, a small, sad laugh. Adam, I am your wife. We have been married for 2 years. We have a dog named Biscuit. You proposed to me on a rainy day in this kitchen, on your knees, with a ring you bought from a small shop downtown, because you said the big stores felt fake. I am the woman you chose. Even after the accident. Even after everything. I am your wife. I looked at the ring on my finger. I looked at the dog. I looked at her. And for some reason, I started crying. Not loud. Just slow tears. Falling without asking my permission. Because part of me wanted to believe her. Part of me wanted this to be real. Part of me was already tired, and we had just met, again. I'm sorry, I said. She squeezed my hand. Don't be sorry. It is not your fault. Eat your eggs. So I ate my eggs. They were good, even with the pepper. The day went on. She showed me the house, slowly, gently, like a guide in a museum. This is the living room. This is where you read every night. This is the bookshelf you built with your dad before he passed away last year. That last sentence hit me like a punch in the chest. My dad passed away. Last year. I had missed it. I had missed his funeral. In a way, even if I had been there in body. Because I did not remember it now. I sat on the couch. I did not say anything for a long time. Sarah sat next to me. She did not push. She did not talk. She just sat. And that, more than anything else, started to make me believe her. A stranger would have filled the silence. A scammer would have pushed harder. A liar would have told me 1,000 things at once. But she just sat, quiet, patient, like she had done this before. After a while, I asked her, "Are there other people I should call? My mom?" She nodded. "Your mom knows about your condition. She visits us every Sunday. If you want, I can call her. But Adam, please listen. Sometimes, when you wake up like this, calling people too fast makes it worse. The doctor said to take it slow, to let your brain catch up, to live the day normally, and let the memories come back on their own, if they want to come back. And if they don't come back?" She looked at me. Her eyes were calm. "Then we live today, and tomorrow, and the day after. That is what we do." I wanted to believe her. I really did. But there was a small voice inside me that would not stop whispering. Why was the house so neat? Why were there no bills on the counter, no half-eaten food in the fridge, no half-done laundry, no normal mess of a normal marriage? Why did her phone never ring? Why was the door of one of the rooms upstairs locked? I had noticed that last detail when she was showing me around. The door at the end of the hallway. She had walked past it without opening it, without even pointing at it, like it was not there. So that afternoon, while she was outside in the garden with the dog, I went upstairs. I walked to the locked door. I tried the handle. It was locked, but the key was on top of the door frame. I could feel the small metal shape with my fingers. I took it down. I put it in the lock, and I opened the door. The room was a small office. There was a desk, a computer, a chair, and on the wall, there was a board, a big cork board, the kind that detectives use in movies. On the board there were photos. Photos of me. Hundreds of them. Me at work. Me at the coffee shop near my old apartment. Me leaving the gym. Me at the grocery store. Me at the gas station. Photos taken from far away. Photos taken when I did not know. Photos taken before the accident. Under the photos there were notes, small papers, pinned to the board. Adam goes to gym every Tuesday and Thursday. Adam buys coffee at 8:15 every morning. Adam's mother lives at, and then the address of my real mother, in my real hometown. My stomach dropped. This was not the office of a wife. This was the office of someone who had been watching me, for a long time, before she ever met me. I felt sick. I sat down on the floor. I tried to breathe. What was this? Who was she? Was the accident even real? Was the marriage even real? Was anything in this house real? I heard the back door open downstairs. "Adam?" she called. "Where are you?" I stood up fast. I closed the door. I locked it. I put the key back on top of the frame. I walked down the hallway, into the bathroom, and turned on the water like I had just washed my hands. When I came down the stairs, she was standing in the kitchen with a basket of tomatoes from the garden. She smiled at me. "You look pale again," she said. "Are you sure you are okay?" "I'm fine," I said, "just tired." She looked at me a little longer than normal, then she smiled again and turned to the sink to wash the tomatoes. I sat down at the table. My hands were shaking under it. I had to be smart now. I had to be very, very smart. Because the woman in this kitchen, the woman who called me her husband, the woman who cried when I said I did not remember her, that woman had a room full of photos of me from before we had ever met. And I needed to find out why, without letting her know that I knew. That night, I told her I was tired. I went to bed early. I lay in the dark, with my eyes closed, and I waited until I heard her breathing slow down beside me, until I was sure she was asleep. Then I took my phone, slowly, and I walked into the bathroom and closed the door. I scrolled through the contacts. I found Mom. I almost called her, but then I stopped. Because what if my mom was part of this? What if the mom in this phone was not really my mom? Instead, I opened the dialer. I typed in my mother's real number, the one I had known since I was a child, the one I could remember even now, 3 years later. It rang twice. Then a voice answered. A voice I knew, a voice that, more than anything else in that strange house, made me feel like I was still myself. "Hello? Mom?" I whispered. "Mom, it's me. It's Adam." She paused. Then she said, Adam? Honey? Are you okay? Where are you? Mom, I said, and my voice was breaking. I don't know. I don't know where I am. There is a woman here who says she is my wife. She says I had an accident 3 years ago. There is a room full of photos of me. Mom, I think something is wrong. I think something is very wrong. There was a long silence. Then my mother said something I will never forget for the rest of my life. She said, Adam, listen to me very carefully. You did have an accident. That part is true. But the woman in that house is not your wife. I held the phone with both hands. Your wife, my mother said softly. Your wife passed away in that accident. Her name was Lena. She was in the car with you. She did not make it. The bathroom started to spin. I sat down on the floor. The cold tiles touched my legs through the pajama pants. Then who? I whispered. Who is the woman in my house? My mother was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Honey, I have been trying to tell you for a long time, but every time you forget, you find her again. Or she finds you. I don't know how she does it, but she is not Lena, and she is not your wife. Who is she, Mom? My mother took a long, shaking breath. She is Lena's sister. I sat on the bathroom floor for a long time after my mother and I hung up. I did not cry. I did not move. My brain was trying to put 1,000 pieces together at the same time, and none of them fit. Lena. My wife's name was Lena. I tried to picture her. I could not. The accident, the doctor had told my mother, had taken those memories from me. The years with Lena were gone. Even if I tried, I could not bring her back. Not in my head, not in my heart. And the woman in the bed, Sarah, was her sister. Why? Why was she here? Why was she pretending? My mother had told me more, on the phone. She told me that Sarah and Lena had been very close. That when Lena died, Sarah had not been the same. She had stopped going to work. She had stopped seeing her friends. She had spent every day at the hospital, next to my bed, while I was in a coma. She had been the one to hold my hand when I woke up. She had been the one to tell me, gently, that there had been an accident, but not who had died, because the doctors had said the shock could damage me more. And then, somewhere along the way, when my memory started to fail, when I started forgetting things, when I started waking up and not knowing what day it was, somewhere in there, Sarah had become Lena, in a way. She had moved into a house with me. She had taken care of me. She had told me, on the bad days, that she was my wife. My mother had tried to stop it. My mother had argued with her. But every time my mother told me the truth, I would forget again, and Sarah would be there, and the cycle would start over. Honey, my mother had said, I think she means well. I really do, but this is not right. You deserve to know who you are. You deserve to know who you lost. And she needs help too. She is stuck. She cannot let her sister go. I sat on the bathroom floor and I thought about all of it. The photos in the locked room were not the photos of a stalker. They were the photos of a woman who had been collecting pieces of me, because she could not stop herself, because she was trying to hold on to a life that was not hers. She was not evil. She was broken. And so was I. I stood up. I opened the bathroom door. I walked back to the bedroom. Sarah was still asleep. The dog was at the foot of the bed. The room smelled like her shampoo, and a little bit like the tomatoes from the garden. I looked at her for a long time, and I made a decision. When she woke up the next morning, I was already sitting at the kitchen table, 2 cups of coffee in front of me, the eggs in the pan, the dog at my feet. She came down the stairs slowly. She saw me. She froze. Adam? She said. Sit down, Sarah, I said softly. She sat. Her hands were shaking. She knew. Somehow, she knew. I called my mom last night, I said. Her eyes filled with tears. She did not look surprised. She looked tired. So tired. She told me about Lena, I said. She told me who you really are. Sarah put her hands on her face. She did not say anything for a long time. The kitchen was very quiet. Even the dog seemed to be holding his breath. Then she spoke. Her voice was small, like a child's voice. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry, Adam. I never meant for it to go this far. The first time you forgot. The first time you woke up and didn't know who I was supposed to tell you. The doctor told me to tell you. My mother told me to tell you. But you looked at me, and you said, Lena, and she stopped. She wiped her eyes. I said yes. Just for a day. Just to give you one more day with her. And then you forgot again. And I said yes again. And then again. And it became this. This life. This house. This lie. I did not say anything. I let her speak. I loved my sister, she said. She was my best friend. When she died, I lost everything. And then I lost you too, because the man she loved didn't even remember her name. So I tried to keep her alive. Through you, through me, through this house. I know it was wrong. I know it. But every time I tried to stop, you would forget again, and you would be alone, and I couldn't leave you alone. She finally looked up at me. Her face was red. Her eyes were full of tears. Are you going to leave? She asked. Are you going to call the police? I sat there for a long, long moment. I thought about the locked room. I thought about the photos. I thought about the ring on my finger. And I thought about the eggs, the pepper, the dog, the garden, the way she had cried, just a little, when I told her I did not remember her. The way she had stayed quiet, when I needed quiet. The way she had said, then we live today, and tomorrow, and the day after. She had taken something from me that was not hers to take, but she had also given me 3 years of not being alone. And I did not know, yet, what to do with that. I am not going to call the police, I said. She let out a small sound, not a cry, not a laugh, something in between. But Sarah, I said, this has to end. Not because I hate you. Not because I am angry. I am angry a little. But mostly I am sad. For you, for me, for Lena, who deserved a sister who could let her go. She nodded, slowly, like every nod hurt. I am going to go back to my mother's house, I said. For a while. I need to learn who I am again. The real me. Not the me you built. Not the me I built to make you feel better. I need to find out what I lost, and I need to learn how to live with it. And you need to do the same. You need to talk to someone, Sarah. A real doctor. Not just for me. For you. I know, she whispered. I know. This house, I said. Whose house is it, really? She smiled a small, sad smile. It is yours. You and Lena bought it. The week before the accident. You never even spent one night here together. I closed my eyes. So this had been their dream. Mine and Lena's. And Sarah had been living inside our dream, with the wrong man, for years. Take care of Biscuit, I said. He loves you. He loves you too, she said. I stood up. I took the ring off my finger. I put it on the table. I looked at her one more time. Thank you, I said, for taking care of me. Even if it was the wrong way. Thank you. She did not answer. She just nodded, and looked at the table, and let me go. That was 8 months ago. I live with my mother now, in the small house where I grew up. The doctors say my memory will probably never come back the way it was. The years with Lena, I will not get back. But I am writing things down now. Every day. In a small notebook I keep next to my bed, so that if I forget again, I will not lose myself again. I will lose only one day, not 3 years. Not a whole life. I have seen pictures of Lena, my real wife. My mother kept them safe for me. She had a soft face, and a big laugh, and she loved old movies and bad jokes. I cannot remember her, but I can love her again, in a quiet way, even now, because she was the woman I chose. And the man I was lucky to have her. Sarah is seeing a therapist. She moved out of the house. She is selling it. We do not talk often, but once, last month, she sent me a letter, just one line. I am learning how to miss her without becoming her. Thank you for letting me try. I keep that letter in my notebook, on the first page, so that if I ever wake up again, next to a stranger, in a room I do not know, with a ring on my finger I do not remember buying, I will read those words. And I will remember that the truth is hard, but the truth is the only thing that lets you start again. If this story moved you, even a little, please tell me in the comments. Would you have stayed in that house? Or would you have walked away? And if you have ever loved someone you lost, Light a small candle for them tonight. They deserve to be remembered, not replaced. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Take care of yourself and the people next to you. Always.